August the 31st. So I've discovered something really powerful, and I'm really thrilled to share this with you. And this is really a big tool in predictive astrology. You won't believe what I will be able to show you through the next few videos. So let's just start where we're coming from. So first of all, the inner planets, Mercury, Venus and Mars, they have a particular rhythm with Earth and the Sun. Mercury every 4 months crosses between Sun and Earth. Venus every 19 months roughly, and Mars on the other side, in that sense, Earth moving between Mars and the Sun every 26 months. So these are the 3 personal planets, and they are the ones which really are giving us that exact predictive mood in which we are moving as a collective. As I wrote here, they're setting the tone, describing the nature of events that we can expect in a certain time frame. Expect to manifest, to really take shape. So this is the phase we're coming out of. See, these are 4-month phases. Let me just start to educate you a little bit what I mean by a retro loop. So this is the observed motion of all the planets. The inner planets make bigger loops. That means every so often, as I say, for Mercury it's 4 months, Venus 19 and Mars 26 months, they make this little zigzag in the sky. So the point of interest which I have been focusing in on is this point where we enter this loop, where the point where we will be exactly coming back to at the end of the retrograde motion. So it's literally the planet moves 3 times through these degrees: forward, backward and forward again, to then venture out, and after 4 months coming back to here. Now in Mercury's case, this is particularly interesting, as Mercury's rhythm with Earth and the Sun is roughly 120 days, a little less, 115, 110, somewhere in that range. So this loop alone takes more than half of these 118, 115 days. Roughly about 58 days Mercury is in this phase, and then he rushes to get into this other alignment, and again. So for Mercury it's obvious that this is a super important number of degrees where it will be visiting for 3 times consequently. And anyway, this was just the hypothesis I started with, and then I started my research, and I was just blown away by what I found. So the last time Mercury was at the beginning of that loop on April the 7th, and it just happened to come back to exactly that repetition, the next loop, on August the 4th. And that's the one we're in now, and this will last till November the 23rd. So these are the big chunks of time which we are experiencing in a very particular way. Naturally, this is now Mercury centered. The interesting thing is that, well, let me give you the full story. You really have to see the charts also in combination with others, because then it really starts making even more sense. So first of all, this Greenwich chart for the 0 meridian that moment was exactly at midday. This in itself is rare. Showing you this now, watch out, this is an important reset point, and conjunct Chiron. Wasn't it that way that the last 4 months really brought all the wounds into the open, all the blisters were bursting, everything came really into the public domain? Yes, you still need to want to see it, to look for it. Those people who are ignorant, and there are still many of those, they have not a clue of what has been revealed, really brought into the forefront. So look at this 10th house here. Chiron still in the 9th house. That means the intention, the motivation, I should say, is really a very spiritual and very pure one. Neptune up here, very high ideals in this Piscean area, and then the Sun here in the 10th house, right at the center. This is really bringing the power into full display, so to say, that there's a strong limelight on the stage, on the world stage, with Jupiter conjunct, and then naturally Astrea, the one who comes in to clean up and to start undoing all the nasty entangled energies, cleaning them up. Aries, the uncompromising truth, is the motivation here. Vesta, again, that spiritual component of dedication, focus, and service, very big word for Vesta. And then, I mean, how much better can it get? Mercury at this powerful initiation moment is exactly conjunct the North Node. Actually already passed, they're separating, which means it's the release phase of that energy. And as you know, the North Node is about evolutionary direction. So this was an enormous boost of mercurial energy through these last 4 months. I guess there's no argument on that. Further, then we have this conjunction, all still in the 10th house, Uranus with Juno, and Venus here at the cusp, but still in the 10th house, and the cusp here 2658, that's pretty much where Algol is. So Algol here at the cusp of the 11th house of an interception. This showed that yes, this will be a difficult time for the circles of friends and the different communities, so to say. So there's still kind of that isolation. We each are in our own little bubble, so to say, and there's these many bubbles, and each has a little bit of a different direction and coloration. So the next stage up naturally is to bring these bubbles together and to make them pop and realize that we are all one big family on this planet. We're all really working together, and that is the empowerment that is just about starting to come forward. Anyway, also the black moon here rising. Yes, again, I mean, just think of what's going down south from where we are here in Canada. I won't put any names out, anything, but it's so big, and I mean, this is just the first name of the story. Think of Hawaii, Maui. Everything is really brought up to such an extreme, and that's a black moon rising. And now listen to this. So this is Mercury. Now let's look at Venus started her retro loop on June the 19th, and now Venus, as I say, has a much bigger cycle of 19 months. So this cycle will go into early spring 2025. So this is still in its start, in its starting phase, just the very first initiation. The very first few months of this initiation have been lived so far. Mercury has a much faster pace. Mercury revolves every 4 months. Now, without even saying too much, just look at Chiron again here. Uranus just turned retrograde yesterday. Look at the angles. So this is an amplification. You see now Uranus turning retrograde. This is really putting fire under that stack of hay, and that is very literal. Particularly if we now look at Mercury's new chapter, which just has started. And again, for Greenwich, I mean, this is not the rule that you will have the sun exactly again on the major axis of the chart, on the power axis, the consciousness axis, this time on the midnight point. Now this is on one hand a difficult chart. As you see, there's the moon in a separating conjunction from Saturn, yes, but approaching Nessus, which is coming to terms with the pathological reality we're living in, and the opposition to Mars, Pallas, and Mercury is beautiful. This is the realization of really getting it, what's happening right now. And I said it, Mercury in Virgo to start with is a great blessing. Mercury in the 9th degree at 80011 seconds of arc, and I really found this degree would be worth reading again from my little Bible here, which gives oracles to all the 360 degrees of the zodiac. The 9th degree of Virgo, an expressionist painter at work. Keynote: the urge to express one's individualized sense of value regardless of tradition. Rudyard's comment here: at this stage, the individual is seen reacting against cultural standards and stereotyped ways of interpreting his perceptions. Isn't that what we all are doing? So this is now becoming a general theme. Everybody will pretty much chime in on this now. This is spreading like a wildfire. This is really going on. He's continuing, this is a statement of uncompromising self-reliance, which may even imply a kind of defiance and a challenge to society. What more do we need, really? This is exactly the remedy here. The mind is seeking to discover the character of the basic and true foundation of individual selfhood, the Om tone or logos of individual being. In the process, however, what is expressed is usually the reflection of a deep catharsis with emotionally charged and often tragic overtones. Yes, this is definitely one way of expressing itself too. He continues here, the 4th stage symbol, this 4th stage symbol, and again the structure of the zodiac he puts into 5-degree sequences, and this is the 4th of a 5-degree sequence, the 9th naturally, 10th is then the final one. The fourth stage symbol brings to us the hint of a technique of transformation of the personality. Now, the fourth stage always is about the technique. It's about a way to approach something, to give it a twist, to make it move in a particular direction. So this is a really good that we get this intuitive insight of using a particular approach. And again, this is very individual. What predominates is a sense of inner conflict and an over self-conscious attempt at being oneself. That is again the more shadow side, but there is a great difference between being an original, very spontaneous, just from your heart, fresh from your liver, as we say in German, uncensored, pure, direct, and intentful. That's what it is. So we become really powerful dragons. This that dragon energy which is now being activated in so many of us due to the urgency of the situation, naturally. So it is really this last minute turnaround which we will be seeing here in the bigger picture. Yes, many will go over the cliff. It's just unavoidable. It's sad, it's tragic. However, on the other side, each soul has a destiny, is predestined on its path, and each has a mission, even those who go over the cliff, as they will be the reminders, the ones which might wake up another few before they also jump over the cliff, just following the other lemmings. So it is about being an original. And then you are an origin of development, pregnant with futurity, and deliberately sought for originality. Yes, that's really the thing. And again, I said it before, the darker it gets on this planet, the more those who carry the light will shine. And that is exactly the phase we are in right now, getting deeper into. So let me show you the beautiful things of this chart. We covered the kind of the basic story, and again it makes sense that this is the basic story. You see it squaring the ascendant descendant axis, which is the expression of that power. And it is Estrella, yes, again the one who is cleaning up, who's coming forward and sorting everything out in Gemini this time. So it is a lot about explaining and about really bringing the whole story into context with what else. That is really where the conviction comes in, where you start seeing the patterns. Things, as crazy as it sounds, it starts getting to a place where it's undeniable. And then you have all the 13 degrees. You see 13 degree placements, particularly this one is beautiful with Jupiter. Now I want to link back to this chart quickly. Look at the 1359. So this cycle just has started, and on the 6th of September we will be at exactly this point, exactly at the center point of this kind of S form loop. So the center point is naturally the one which then will redefine and define in a different way, more as a content versus the way, I would say. That's kind of the distinction I would make here. So the content you see is having this axis. That's when a Sun and Mercury will be exactly conjunct on the 6th of September. And do not just watch this degree here. You see here in small I have the retro loop, so you can compare. So on August 4, Jupiter was at 1359 Taurus, and you see that is the descendant within 14 minutes of arc when Mercury is at that center point exactly between Sun and Earth. And watch out for this one, 1336 they will meet. 1311 the moon is here on the opposite side. So you see, I mean, this is not minor, these are major connections these two charts have. Anyway, this is already a little bit in the future. Maybe just mentioning one more thing, this 806 moon here, when Mercury and the Sun will have their synodic cycle restarted, rebooted. That mutual dance between Sun, Earth and Mercury. The moon at 806 Gemini, not just in perfect square to that 8 degrees 0011 where that loop started, but also being the degree where Mars turned direct on January the 12th, and where that green comet turned direct on March the 5th, which, as the 9 said, and it's happening, it's not an illusion, it's really happening. If you're within that movement, we are in that Aurora family. That comet triggered the star seeds to get fully activated. It brought those codes into place, which would bring that final empowerment. So that comet is still going, and it's actually on September the 24th. This is an important date to note down. I will talk about that again. Naturally, it's coming up. On that day, the comet will come to its greatest zodiacal longitude in the 19th degree of Cancer, by the way. We will get into that again. And then from there on turn retrograde again. Retrograde is the comet's normal motion, so it has been moving forward just for this relatively short period, as it was in that closer inner part of the solar system between March the 5th, it turned direct, and on September the 24th it again will start moving backward. It seems these 5 months, and we're just in the final phase in here, in that sense of that extremely outward and forward activation, and then again it goes more into a I wouldn't say inactive, but into an indirect mode of inner work, with which then will come out through other channels. That's how usually retrograde planets work. It's kind of like, as I described it also, as the inhale time part of the cycle. So anyway, the 9th degree of Gemini, that's the degree of conquest. If we go into the Sabian symbols again, which is, the symbol is an quiver full of arrows. think about that, make what you want of it. And also the 0 degree Virgo here in this kind of content of that 4-month cycle we just entered. And it's anyway, I'm so excited about this discovery, and I will prove it to you in a few, at least 2 videos I will make on that, which will be a bit more technical, but you will, particularly those of you who are more into really research in astrology and the scientific part of it, you will enjoy what I have to offer there. It's quite exciting. I'm totally thrilled by it. Anyway, let's zoom back here to a little bit. This is when Mercury turned retrograde, and it's so you see that is that was that moment. Just to show you again here on this little graph. That was that moment here. That was the 23rd. So it entered it on the 4th of August. Came up here on the 23rd of August. Will be at the center point exactly between Sun and Earth on September the 6th. And starting to appear moving direct again on September 15. And then getting out of that loop, I guess that is then by late September, early October. I guess it's actually early October. Anyway, this is just to give you the context here again. So here we had a Moon-Uranus opposition. I mean, I said it, this is in T-square to the black moon, which is still in a separating conjunction with the Sun, and the Sun in the 1st degree of Virgo again, as we had in this chart with the midheaven. So you see, it's the sign Virgo is super empowered, and naturally Mercury is at home in Virgo, one of its 2 signs. Also here in the retro loop there's a Mercury sign here at the ascendant. We haven't even spoken of that yet. Anyway, so let's just look at a few more charts. Then on the 26th of August, Mercury had its 2nd conjunction with Pallas, and again this is a very powerful configuration. Again ties into that green comet. This is where the moon was when the green comet was closest to the Sun on January the 12th, and Mars turned direct on January the 12th, again that same date. This was the degree where Mars turned retrograde, the 26th degree of Gemini in October 2022. The moon directly here opposing in this T-square at the galactic center, and then there is Neptune here. So this is a beautiful grand square. And it brings to a clear visibility the confusion which everywhere and everyone is feeling. And it is that confusion that literally everything is falling apart, is dissolving. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a dissolution. nothing can be taken for certain anymore. Even what I'm telling you here, don't think this is the Bible. It is just an opinion, and everything is an opinion. Everything is a way to look at reality. There's no such thing as a truth in words. That is impossible, as the wonderful Lao Tse says in his very first of the 80 poems. Tao cannot be said. As soon as you open your mouth, you're falling prey to the 1,000 illusions. Anyway, that's my paraphrasing. It's like you walk around a tree, and from each angle, even if you just move a couple feet, the tree will look slightly different. And now, if the person who stands on this side of the tree and the person who stands on this side of the tree start arguing, no, this is how the tree is, and the other says, no, this is how, you see the ridiculous situation here. That's something which is to be considered under these present energies happening. So anyway, let me continue with what I have here lined up for you. Then, on the 27th, just 2 days ago, heliocentric Pallas entered Libra. Again, a powerful, powerful chart we have here. Chaos at the ascendant here in that powerful combination with Aspolus. Aspolus, who is the one who's interested in the dark, mysterious and problem solving the chaos, you could say. Investigating that chaos, going deep into it, looking at it with the loop, that Sherlock Holmes energy, in the final degree of Gemini here, where Betelgeuse is the bright star in the upper left of the Orion constellation, which is, as I showed you, in its very last stage before becoming a supernova. Who knows, maybe we will be experiencing this during our lifetime. Would definitely be a matching cosmic event for that Great Awakening, which is now well underway. Nobody can really ignore this anymore, at least if you're a little bit aware of what's going on this planet. The same moment, heliocentric Pallas entering Libra from the geocentric perspective has the moon conjunct Arrokoth in the moon, actually, interestingly enough, in the very last minutes of hexagram 54, which is the marrying maiden in the Chinese I Ching, the name of it, which is that powerful dynamics of male and feminine and masculine, male and masculine and feminine energies interacting, and it is actually the ruthlessness of the dark feminine, which is triggering the masculine to get out of its cave and truly start learning the lessons. The story there is, it's the who rules the country, who rules the empire. It's the concubine of the emperor who's truly having the power in her hands, as she is the boss and the emperor has to do what he's told. I guess that's the story. However, then Oracot in hexagram 61, inner truth. So it is this anticipation, this bringing home, coming to realize the truth. This is, and Palace in Libra is so well placed. It is simultaneous with with geocentric Mars. I'm mixing it up now. So Mars, as seen from Earth, entered Libra just hours prior to. You see, it's really an amazing synchronicity again. And that same moment seen from our perspective on planet Earth. And then, I mean, how about that? The black moon here at the 4th house cusp. This is really throwing it all into the open. Nothing can be hidden anymore. The source codes are revealed. That's what one could say in this late phase of Leo. Actually, this is hexagram 30, which is fire below and fire above. Anyway, you get the picture. It is everything is adding up here, and then yes, Uranus turns direct here in the same configuration as Venus retro loop. And those of you who watched my video on the Philadelphia experiment know that this is that degree which was at the ascendant when the Philadelphia experiment was started, which has a tremendous power. These degrees between 7 and 10 Leo are real nuclear power. This is an atomic explosion in itself, these degrees. There's so much coming from there. Combustion is the word Rudyard gives these whole 15 degrees of Leo, the first part. And then naturally again, I mean, this is just a repeat. It's coming over and again. Let me show you just 2-3 more charts before we stop today. So tomorrow, actually it's today, as I'm recording here early morning at 1:53 it is here in in my part of the world. The moon at perigee, which means that is where the moon is exactly at its closest to Earth, at 119 Pisces. Just hours to go, about 12 hours to go till exact full moon. So that said, this super moon in Pisces is the biggest moon of the year. It's the closest it can be to Earth. Actually, yes, 12 hours prior to be most exact. You see, the black moon is on its opposite, on the opposite side. This is where the moon is farthest away from Earth. Conjunct Saturn, and then there's one more little planet Gong Gong at 5 degrees and 6 minutes right now. Gong Gong is the sea monster or the sea dragon. There's a big story there too. So, and then there's Earth. So this all is actually quite a profound tone, and it well can be that we will see further, I'm sorry to say, but this could be flooding, more flooding and things like that. I mean, just that hurricane, which again is expected, and you know, I mean, these things are all hyped up, but seemingly nature is still allowing these things to happen. We still are not fully at that breaking point. We need to get to. It's all part of the story, the natural and the artificial. Everything here on this planet is a crossbreed of these two energies, and they are triggering each other naturally. The artificial one likes to overtake the natural, but it is still in that challenge that the natural, the nature's forces are pushed to grow strength and integrity, as I read you in that ninth degree of Virgo before. So anyway, this is the moon is closest to Earth, and then this is the full moon. Interesting. Let's quickly go one step back. Pholus here rising together with Quaoar. Pholus is the guy who's finally stepping into the arena and starting whatever he's lined up for. It's that moment of activation. Quaoar is about creation, but there's a big but there. Quaoar always starts with a difficult situation, mastering a difficult situation, mastering and maturing through difficult situations. That's what this really is. It was interesting that the first time these two had an exact conjunction was just in the fourth night of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict there. Just, I guess it was February the 22nd in 2 years ago or so. On a side note, these two will be in close proximity for the next, hang on to your hat, almost 50 years, till 2063. So this is a big phase of adjustment on many levels. We have to bite into the sour apple. That's kind of the simple translation. And TX300 here at the root of this chart, also very exact. TX300, that is that bold, loud energy, which is in my mind always related to the trucker convoy that was in 2022. That was, I guess, in February. I guess that's when it was. I'm losing the oversight of time, but you get it. Anyway, full moon then with an Aries ascendant, beautiful. And who would have thought, here again we have Pholus and Quaoar, this time in midheaven. And last but not least, this is the well, no, this was not yet the full moon. This was the heliocentric Mars-Chiron opposition. Okay, and I'm giving you here the geocentric chart. Let me just quickly go to the heliocentric so you see them both. 849, that is, here we are, and we turn it over to helio and we redraw, and here you have it. That is when Mars and Chiron have their exact conjunction. A 1 in roughly 3 years, or 2 to 3 years event, yes. Mars Chiron definitely is that warrior energy. A powerful activation, a powerful culmination of these energies activated as we speak, and as you see with that configuration of Pholus and Quasar. So now let's see, this is between, you see, this is between the moon is at its closest to Earth, and then a couple hours later, 7:50 p.m. actually, you see 4:01 p.m. moon at perigee, 7:50 p.m. heliocentric Mars Chiron opposition, and then on the next day, on the 31st in universal time, the full moon, the blue moon, powerful full moon that is already. And then there is this little guy, AW197, stealth fighter, working from the background, being invisible, wearing that invisibility cloak. It's also the art of stratagem, the art of war, to appear to be losing when you are winning. All of that together, Aikido comes to mind. So all that is powerfully encoded in this full moon. And just reminding you once more, here between Saturn and the moon is Gong Gong at 5 degrees and 6 minutes. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed that whole story I gave you, and well, see you soon. Thanks for joining and listening.